Right, hello and welcome back to League Two Lowdown. So I am your host today, Luke Payne. I know it's not normally me. Someone let me out and put me in charge. I don't know how that's happened, but believe it or not, I am actually here with our usual host, Mr. Jordan Richards. How are we, mate?
Well, other than the fact I'm on death's door, I blame you for that. You were saying that you were just about recovering from an illness the other day. You must have passed it on through the screen. So yeah, look, it's just an easy dig to poke at, really. Just something just to wind you up a little bit, as I can see from your face. But well, no, at least I won't say Grimsby cured it, but it certainly helped my feelings. This is that the right way? The word to say? It certainly helped
Sure.
me. It certainly, well, yeah, we'll go with it. It certainly helped me out a little bit this week. It's actually made it a pretty good weekend. We'll talk about it a bit more, but yeah, I'll be fully better soon. But I basically want to talk as very little as possible in this one. Whether it'll work, probably not. Like I'm going on now still, but yeah, this is why I've given you the reins today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even 100% yet myself either, so it's pretty much just a recording from our hospital beds at this point.
It's,
Like
it's the
we're,
old,
we're
it's the old,
just
Brit, it's the old British thing, something going around, isn't there? Yeah,
yeah, pretty much. But still,
we know it as well.
we've almost returned to normality in the sense that there's no Tuesday fixtures, so we can actually focus a bit more on what actually happened over the weekend, which means our proper deep dives are back, and I am going to kick things off with Cambridge and Salford, which was one of our early kickoffs, which Cambridge obviously ran away with 1-0. And to be fair, I think they probably had the better of the chances, I'd say, especially in the first half. Um, in the end, it was just a high quality set piece from James Brophy, James Gibbons heading it in, a very powerful header actually across goal. And that was kind of it. I know Ryan Graydon had like a big one-on-one that he just hit straight at the keeper. But to be honest, I think Cambridge deserved it. It's one of those where you just grind out the game, and they just had a little bit more.
Well, I think, I think those are the moments that are going to get you promoted this season against good teams. Um, Obviously, we knew about Cambridge going into it. Obviously, one of the best sides in the division, and they've got top three aspirations. And it's taken one moment that has won them the game. I mean, it was a really good header to win it. Um, and yeah, I mean, this is coming up against a Salford side that have done well recently. Have won their last four games, so they're finding a bit more consistency now. And there was maybe one or two question marks whether they can maybe attempt to break into the top three conversation. Um, but I mean, a result like that would have certainly dampened the argument a little bit. Obviously, I know you've mentioned about, the chance with Ryan Graydon. I mean, you say he pretty much hit it straight at Jake Eastwood. Look, I'm really pleased to see him do well. He's been one of the league's best keepers this season. Um, look, I think when we released him, I wasn't sure where he'd end up because he's always been like he was sort of in and out. I didn't think he was the best keeper in the world, certainly for us. But no, I'm pleased to see that he's done well, and I actually think he's been a big part to Cambridge's success this season. And yeah, I think truth be told, I think they've taken a few of us by surprise as to how well they've done this year. And they're looking really good for a top three place as well. Unbeaten in the last nine now, as well. I didn't think the draw at Walsall was horrendous. I mean back to back home wins, as well. I mean keep three clean sheets in a row. I mean not quite the five that they put past Gillingham last time, but it was a case that one will do. For clean sheet as well, 3 points that'll do, and they're on they go on to the next one, I guess, for them now. So yeah, good victory for the U's and for Neil Harris.
Yeah, I think this one was just a bit more of a more characteristic sort of Cambridge win. We were saying there the whole 5 goals at Gillingham. That's not normally them. They're used to grinding out these games by 1 or 2 goals. They've got a very strong defence. They know they're not going to concede many, and they have the best defence in the league. It's as simple as that. So they've got a very good unit there. They're not the prettiest team, but they are one of the most effective. But as annoying as that is to say, given that we are one of their promotion rivals, but I mean, fair play to them. That's the sort of game you have to sort of get yourself through, get the result, and batting away a team like Salford, who could well end up in the autos conversation, and that's good going. And knowing that Salford have to play Dons next, they could still have a chance of creeping into that autos conversation. But we'll save that whole bit for the midweek recording.
Can I
But
just
yeah, no,
can I just add something on Salford? It's quite an interesting situation where they find themselves because obviously they're 3 points adrift. Well, of Notts County in fourth. I mean, they're 5 points behind Cambridge now, obviously with that defeat. But there's also the point where you think about it as well. I mean, they're on 67, and I'm not going to do it because I've just realised what number that was, but. I also feel at the same time there's been next to no middle ground. It does feel like how they were like Grimsby. They've not drawn a lot of games. Was it like 4 draws, 5 draws this season that they've
yeah,
had?
four draws,
Some
that's it.
something like that. And I mean, it's certainly they've certainly won a lot of games. That's for sure. They've lost a fair few. But I guess it's but maybe if you're not, if it, I do think maybe it is a case if you're not going to win games, at least try not to lose it. I mean, it's a tricky task going to Cambridge as it is, and I'm not just putting it down in that game in isolation because there's been numerous times where maybe it's happened and they've not quite covered themselves in glory. I think you also look at it in the case of. I do look at it from Grimsby's perspective as well. We're 5 points behind Salford, and we've got a game in hand over him. So if results was to go against him, and let's say results went our way, I mean, we don't play for a couple of weeks yet, but I'm sure we'll touch on us a little bit. The conversation might change a little bit, and they, I think it's maybe just something to be wary of with them, especially how patchy they can be at times. I mean, we've seen it all season now. I mean, they've gone through a couple of good spells, but they have been prone to the odd bad spell. But I mean, look, we're in the thick end of the season now. I mean, this is the time in which they can't really afford to do that now. But I think it's certainly a team to keep an eye on, just because of, I guess, the unpredictability at times. I think.
Yeah, I'd say that makes a lot of sense. I'd say especially with the whole, if you can't win, at least draw. And you look at the teams at the very, very top of the league, it is the three teams that don't really lose much. I think Bromley have lost four, Dons have now lost seven, and Cambridge have only lost six. So, that is the difference, just making sure you're always getting, something on the board just to keep yourselves on that kind of upward trend. And to be fair, from a Cambridge perspective, if they hadn't lost that game to Harrogate, their unbeaten run would be absolutely insane right now. It was
It
just
would
that
be.
one-off game.
But
But
that's
anyway,
League Two,
let's
yeah. It's not League Two, isn't it?
that is so League Two. It was like the most League Two thing that could have happened. But I tell you what, I've mentioned Dons there, and I'm going to come on to our game. Can't really avoid it. Um, we finally lost our first loss in the 15, losing 3-1 to Barnet. And actually, they are the first team this season to beat us by more than one goal. So, I mean, fair play to them for that. I kind of said it when we went there as well. I think that game was a draw in the end, but they're probably the best team I've seen us face. And I was saying to you off camera beforehand, they've genuinely impressed me more than even Oxford did when we played Oxford in the FA Cup. Obviously, a side like Oxford have more quality because, championship side, all the rest of it. But in terms of the team performance and the way they play, Barnet are very, very good. They're like
Yeah,
extremely good.
I think probably, obviously, their biggest regret, certainly over the last month or so, is that inconsistency. Which, well, look, I think, look, if you'd have asked Barnet, I mean, for their first season as an EFL side, I mean, they're 12th with still an outside shot at the playoffs, so 5 points behind with 7 games to go. I think they would have taken it. I think from some of the evidence that obviously me and you have seen, but it's also in some of the other games. I feel like they're one of the best footballing sides in the league. They know what they're about, and they've got some really tricky players. I mean, look, we looked at the goal. I don't think Kieran Slicker's covered himself in glory for Mellish's goal, but certainly redeemed himself with the penalty. I know you wanted to talk about that, but I mean, look, the other goals as well. Shamanga's goal was really well taken. Ryan Glover, really good work from him to find that, and then that finish is beautiful. Even Carney's as well was pretty tidy. Look, it's a really good win for him. And it's certainly the indication that you need that they're not ready to give up just yet on the playoffs. There's work to do, of course there is, but I mean, there's there's a lot of twists and turns to come yet as well. I mean, I think, to be fair, I think looking at the other results yesterday for the other playoff chasing teams won, probably a bigger result than what probably the must win result they needed. Actually, it proved to be. I know there was the early kickoff, so they couldn't have foreseen that, but it's actually turned out to be quite nice because the fact that they're still in the ground. I mean, if they'd have lost that game, probably most likely, well, they would have lost more ground, and you probably are talking about season over maybe. But no, look, I've really liked what Dean Brennan's done there at Barnet. They've got some good players. They've got an identity about them. They make it hard for teams. You get some good runners on there. They get the ball in, and they do play some expansive football. I think maybe the cutting edge has let them down a little bit at times this season. I think it's just that inconsistency and the lack of cutting edge at times that will probably cost them if they make it. But certainly, as their first year back in the EFL, certainly not a season to be ashamed of by any means, and it only puts them in good stead for next season. Now, as obviously remains to be seen, you would probably expect interest for the likes of Ryan Glover again, whether they can hold on to him. I think they'll have a tricky task of doing that, to be quite honest. But it's certainly an interesting time, certainly under Dean Brennan, like I said, who I rate a lot, and it's a terrific victory, and of course ending MK Dons' long 14-match unbeaten run, in which we're starting to look at it and thinking, are they going to lose a game between now and the end of the season and go on and get promoted? Well, the answer is yes, as they've done a job
I
there,
could
and a
have
really good
told you
one.
that. We weren't going to win all of them.
Well, you're probably going to say, look, we played Wednesday night and we played, well, early kickoff Saturday, which I guess it does have a factor, but you can't really have that as the excuse, really. But
Oh no, I don't think. It's one of those things where I think something like that plays a bit of a part, because obviously it reduces your recovery time until you're back playing again, all the rest of it. But I don't think it's like the only factor. Like, I think you do have to give Barnet their credit. They are a very, very good side. And as you say, actually, if I wasn't a Dons fan, that second goal with the counter attack of Glover and Shimanga, very good goal. To be fair,
yeah,
it's just a shame that of those 3 goals, 2 of them were scored by our former academy players, Shimanga and Collins, beaten by our academy, sadly. But no, absolutely credit to them. It is just these little moments in games that have let them down over the course of the season. And you look at the goal that they did concede, which was basically just Slicker dropping the ball straight onto John Mellish's foot. It's just those little moments. If they can sort of eradicate those, then you're looking at a team with a serious promotion bid. And as you say, if they can hold on to players like Ryan Glover, then even if they don't get in this season, you'd absolutely back them in next season. Glover's someone that I've obviously seen a couple of times now, and both times I thought, okay, this guy wouldn't look out of place in our team, and that's with all of our sort of like star signings, all the rest of them. That is someone that feels like he deserves another promotion on his CV just based off the way he's played this season. Even if Barnet don't get it themselves. I am going to touch on our performance a little bit as well, because as brilliant as Barnet were, I think this was kind of a game where it's just one too many for us. We definitely looked a bit tired, not at our best. It's quite rare to see someone like Luke Offord have a bad game, and I think he was at fault for 2 of the goals, which definitely doesn't help. But yeah, I think it was just one of those days for us, a frustrating one. Barnet probably could have had more goals. I think we definitely could have had more goals as well. To be fair, it's one of those games that it could have been a totally different scoreline, and I would have believed you based off of the various sort of chances in the game. You've mentioned the penalty as well. That was obviously a huge one, and I'm very intrigued as to why Rashawn Hepburn-Murphy took it. Because obviously the last penalty we had was the last-minute one against Cambridge, and Aaron Collins took that one. But this time, even though he's on the pitch, we let Rush take it instead, and that's an odd decision to me. And Warren was kind of explaining after the game that instead of having a system where it's just, right, if this player is on the pitch, they take it, which would probably make more sense, designated penalty taker for the season, that's just how it is. We seem to do it based on who is the starting taker. Hepburn Murphy is on the pitch, so regardless of whenever we get the penalty, he's the one that takes it, even though we've got someone that probably would have taken it ahead of him if he had started in Aaron Collins. So I thought that was a little bit of a strange one, and obviously when you miss a penalty at 3-1 down, that's kind of game done at that point, isn't it? Really, you're not gonna bounce back from that. But yeah, it's one of those. We'll move on from it. Get a little bit of rest now, and then we've got potentially 4 players coming back for Salford, which includes Mendes, Lang, and Patterson. So we'll wait and see how we go on that.
That's the
Um,
thing with it. That's the thing with it. I mean, look, you've gone on a strong unbeaten run. Yes, it's come to an end as all unbeaten runs do. Although Bromley's doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. You've
that
got
needs to stop soon.
you've got 7 games left. Yes, okay, you've lost ground in terms of the title fight, but you're still in a good position, 4 points clear of Notts County, who's sat in fourth. 7 games left. Why not start another one? Now is the good time to do it, and you've proven that you can do it. Just one of those, probably one game too far, little blip in the road, but I honestly don't. I honestly don't think it'll be any more than that. I do expect MK to bounce back pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, exactly that. It's one of those that if we go and bounce back against Salford next week, this result will just be totally forgotten. You know, and with the mental strength of the players we've got, that sort of character that Wharton's been able to build within the group, I would expect a response. But that's a conversation for the midweek. So I'll tell you what, I've had my fun with my game, or maybe not fun because we lost, but shall we talk about Grimsby?
I had fun with ours.
Definitely had fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I was kinda hoping that, we've had a lot of conversations about Barrow and their whole sort of all their issues and how it's all been going horribly wrong. I was kind of thinking, "Oh, you know what? This will probably just be a standard loss. We won't have to talk about them this week." And then they've gone and lost 5-0, and suddenly we have to talk about them again. Uh, I'll let you talk us through this one, to be honest, 'cause I don't even know where to start with 5 goals, so go ahead.
yeah. Look, I'll start with Grimsby, and yeah, I thought it was other than a couple of injuries picked up in the game, probably the perfect afternoon. Really professional throughout. Quite comfortable. I mean, look, it could have been a completely different game if Tom Barkhausen took that chance early on in the game, which we sort of gift wrapped to him. And who knows if he would have converted that, Barrow going 1-up, who's would the game have changed there? I still probably think we would have won anyway, but I always got the sense of when Andy Cook got that first goal. I've been critical with Darragh Burns with you over the last couple of weeks, but I thought he played really well yesterday. It was a really good ball into Cook. It looked a bit easy from a Barrow perspective, but ever since that goal went in, I always got the impression that I thought we was always going to win the game. Um, and yeah, it's the fact that we'll talk about it a bit more, but we've won the game without getting out of first gear, really. And I think that's what pleases me about it, but also is a damning statement on Barrow. We obviously go in 2-up before half time. Really good finish from Kieran Green. I mean, Jays Kabia makes that run on the right hand side. Um, just no one is tracking Green at all from a Barrow perspective. It's another really poor goal to concede right in the half. Had to weather a storm. 10 minutes into the second half, Barrow did come out a little bit. Um, Made Jackson Smith pull off a few good saves. And then, well, Jays KB has popped up in the 60th minute with his first of the day in our third, and that is game over. Then they've got a mountain to climb at 2-0. It looks, well, it's impossible at 3-0. I think probably where Barrow are at the minute. And yeah, look, I think certainly with those 3 goals, there's a lot to ponder on Barrow's end, but I think on our part as well, there were 3 well taken goals. Some really good finishes in there, and then obviously we get the fourth in the 87th minute through Green with the header from a Reece Staunton corner. He's got one of the best left foots in the division from a set piece. But again, I don't think Barrow covered themselves in glory with that one. The goalkeeper or the defending. And then that last one with James Caby's got a tap in. Brilliant work from Justin Amaluza. But again, it just, from what I'd say about Barrow there, it looks so lazy. Not taking away what Amaluza did to get there, just get the touch, take it around the men, and to play it into Cabia, who's pretty much waiting on the line for a tap in. And it signalled a really comfortable afternoon for us. And as we push on towards our quest for the playoffs, been a really good week. 2 clean sheets, 6 goals scored. And we've got a bit of a break now. Obviously, we don't play next week. We're next in action in a couple of weeks' time. Now the players have got a few days off now to sort of recharge the batteries, get ready for a monster running that we've got coming up, because we sure have got one. But no, there's more pleasing sides, and we've turned over a lot of teams this year, and we're very capable of doing that. But yeah, Barrow. I mean, what can you say? You can use all all the words to describe it. Really embarrassing, weak, spineless. That's what I thought that was. It looked a side that had absolutely no fight about them, no bottle. And for a side that's in a relegation battle, that's the bare minimum you want. And I saw absolutely none of that. I feel for Sam Foley. I feel like he's been thrown under the bus a little bit with the club putting him as player manager in this. But all I've seen from some of the Barrow fans, I think, as mentioned, I think a couple of people say is that the Barrow players are basically now playing for their mate. Well, if that's playing for your mates, then how do you explain that one? I mean, look, it's been a really poor week for them. I mean, 2 games, granted against Grimsby and Salford, but they've shipped 8 goals and have scored 1. We talk about their monster running, but if they're gonna put up anything like that, in which they have done for their last 8 games or so, you might as well just relegate them now, because that was shambolic to say the least. Really, um, it was. Honestly, I can't tell you how easy it was for us. Even I'm saying it was easy. I enjoyed what we produced. Obviously, we scored 5 goals in the game. I'm obviously happy, but at the same time, I can't also ignore the fact that it does a, I, you're fighting for your lives at the bottom of the table. That Do you want to be a professional footballer next season? That's the thing about it. You're not just talking about the player side as well. You're talking about inside the club, about jobs and stuff, how relegation could hurt them. And I'll tell you what, I don't think these players are putting up a really strong enough effort for that at the minute. I think the players have been pretty poor. They've thrown quite a few managers under the bus. Um, I mean, it looks like they're going to stick with Sam Fairley, but would you try roll the dice one more time and try and get someone in? But I think you're probably looking at that from a manager's perspective. Barrow come knocking, unless you're desperate to get back in a job. Do I want to take that because of their history at the minute and for where they are? I don't know. I'll be honest, that absolutely reeked of a relegation performance, of a relegated side. And they've got a lot of work to do to turn that around, because look, as much as I enjoyed yesterday, it was really, 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 really poor from them. That's all I can say in it, really.
Well, I mean, there is time for another manager's coming. You know, they only last for about 5 games, and there's what, a good sort of 7 or 8 left. So you know they're fine. They can get another one in. It's just I just don't understand anything with Barrow anymore. And that actually, you say they're fighting for their lives, but actually that's the problem. They're not.
No, 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 they're
They're
not
just
at
not
all.
fighting for it at all. Um,
Look, I was saying this to someone yesterday. In a relegation battle, you've got to have the cojones, basically, really. And I see none of that. And look, we was having this discussion as well. I mean, all 4 of the bottom sides lost yesterday. I mean, it doesn't do anyone any good, though, at this stage. That's it. Whether you win or lose, at the minute, it doesn't do anyone any good. So, but yeah, we've seen signs in other teams. But Barrow, at the minute, my God, they've got some work to do if they want to be a football league club next year.
well, I mean, it's remarkable that despite losing in that fashion, they haven't actually lost any ground, which is, I suppose, is the one positive for them that they can take is right, clean slate, forget that game. Worst thing that could have happened. We don't need to think about that. On to the next one. Actually attack it this time and give it a good go. Because let's be real, their running is tough. We've mentioned it a few times over the last few weeks. But you're gonna have to show a lot more fight, a lot more desire. Because what you saw in that game was very much a Grimsby side that wanted it, and they needed that result. Everything
Yeah.
in them said we need this game. Nothing in any of that the Barrow players said that at all, whatsoever. And yeah, I mean, I was also saying a few weeks ago, Barrow, they're going to finish 24th, and I said that pretty confidently. For a couple of weeks later, they're already 24th. And I'm not seeing any indication that that's going to change. But Yeah, one to keep an eye on. The other relegation candidates aren't going to be complaining, but from a Grimsby perspective, it's a good confidence builder. It's one of those solid 5-0 win, especially at this stage. Really good for the goal difference because it could come down to something like that because it is closer.
That's
It
it,
is
yeah.
close in the area of the table. It could come down to final day, and right now you've got better goal difference than Salford above you, and everyone else below you as well.
Yeah,
It
that's it.
is in 6 or 7 games. That's practically an extra point.
Yeah,
So who knows?
that's it. That's it. And of course, it's a stark improvement to last season where we just missed out on the playoffs with a minus, was it 6 goal difference? Um, obviously, where we've been really good at home recently as well. Where we've been unbeaten at home since the turn of the calendar year. I mean, look, we still only lost twice this calendar year in the league as well. So I think we're in a good place. I mean, there's obviously we've got a fair few injuries to deal with now. I think this break has come at the best time really to somewhat take a step back from it, recharge, get a few players back hopefully for this run in. But no, I think in terms of where we are, especially where other results have happened yesterday, with literally everyone else around us winning, um, obviously it's turned out to be a huge win in the end. But look, I'm not naive about it. There's still a lot to play between now and then. We still got to play some of these sides in and around us, and a lot can change. But at the minute, it's us that's in the driving seat. So I guess there maybe is a target on our back a little bit, but we'll just take it as it comes. Really, I'll be keeping a close eye on the games next week while we're not in action. But yeah, no, I think we're in a good place at the minute.
Well, you're just showing your ruthless streak, and I'll tell you who else is showing their ruthless streak at the minute. Notts County. They of
Hmm.
course came out 5-2 winners against Cheltenham after scoring a bucket load the other day as well. So they are really on form at the minute. And to be fair, first half it was actually relatively close. I thought Cheltenham actually put up a decent fight. Obviously, Isaac Hutchinson came away with grace and individually good performance. It's just a shame that the second half just wasn't a replica of the first, really, from their perspective. I think Knott's really sort of turned it up. That extra notch, that sort of showing their promotion credentials, I think, and actually the quality of some of the goals scored. I was watching through the highlights of this, thinking, "Oh, Matthew Palmer, that's a great goal for the second one." I'm gonna write that down immediately, as that's the pick of the bunch. And then the, the very next goal was Tommy Orpenda scoring an absolute worldie. So it's just anything they do, anything they create at this moment in time turns into a goal, and that's the wonderful thing about playing with confidence. Uh, and it's absolutely done wonders for them. Yeah, I mean, obviously at 4-2, you then had the red card of Sam Sherring. I mean, the game was gone at that point anyway. For me, that's still not a red card. I think it was incredibly harsh. But I think either way, I think not very easily, very comfortably deserved that win. Just again, showing that ruthless streak, and Cheltenham just couldn't keep up with that level for a full 90 minutes, and that's the real difference in quality between those two sides.
Yeah, it's been a very good week for him, isn't it? I mean, look,
Yeah.
9 goals in 2 games of football. It's certainly a huge positive. I mean, it bumps the goal difference up a little, a fair bit in that one. But look, ultimately they've come away from those games with 2 really good wins in 2 games in which you probably would consider potential banana skins, especially Cheltenham at the minute. I mean, they've been on that long unbeaten run, as we mentioned in the last episode. A lot of them being draws, but they picked up some draws against good teams that are up there. So they clearly want an opposition. They're clearly not a side that to take lightly going into it. Um, I mean, look, Isaac Hutchinson with the brace for Cheltenham. Look, he's had a fantastic season, as he was. It, I think I saw 13 goals in 27 appearances for them this season. I think he's been an excellent pickup. We'll have to see what the future holds for him going into next season. Obviously, he's still contracted at Bristol Rovers. But yeah, Notts County, I mean, look, we know that they've got the squad to put teams to the sword. I've been adamant of it. You know, they've got some really good players in that side. A lot of them, I do think, are League One players. And yeah, some really well taken goals in there. I mean, look, you mentioned Matt Palmer's goal. Not a player that scores very often, of course, as we know. But I think I heard that was his first goal for Notts County in the EFL as well. I mean, it's a beauty.
Well,
I was watching the ITV highlights earlier. I mean, if that's true, I mean it's a wonderful goal to get it. But yeah, somehow it wasn't even the best goal of the game. Um, I mean that Tom Panda goal is special. Really, it is phenomenal. If that goal was scored in the Premier League, it's one in which there would be a lot of uproar about because it was that good. The way he sort of nutmegged the man, went past a couple of players, and has found the bottom corner. Really well taken goal, and I think he's got a bright future in the game actually from some of the bits you have seen of him this season. Obviously contracted at Huddersfield, I believe, as well. So I have to see how he does next season. Obviously, with them, if obviously the step up with Huddersfield, you probably imagine him being in and around that squad, or maybe if Notts County go up, whether they try and get him back, I think remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, he's got a good future ahead of him. I mean, look, there's a couple of goals. I mean, that James Wilson own goal is quite unfortunate, but it looked like it was probably going to go in anyway if he got that touch or not. I do agree with the red card. I didn't think there was much in it really. It certainly looked like a yellow at most. But it certainly proved to. It certainly well, they scored another one in stoppage time through to his hole. But yeah, I was quite surprised with the result, but certainly it's a big result, really, and I think because of the nature of it. Because I mean, look, as I've mentioned, a Cheltenham side that, on the whole, recently have been doing okay, certainly against sides that are up there in the table. The season's done. That's it now. But look, for Notts County, their season is far from done, and at Meadow Lane as well. I mean, look, as I say, 9 goals scored in 2 games this week, and yeah, and they've put on a show in both of them. It's certainly been a fantastic week for them now, heading into what is a big game on Tuesday night against Oldham.
Well, exactly that. I mean, they're going to need their shooting boots for that game for reasons I'll state later as to the quality of Oldham's defence in recent times. But no, for Notts, it was it's just a huge result. And again, we're talking about goal difference with the Grimsby game. You're looking at goal difference here for Notts, and they're now comparative with Cambridge, and I mean even with Bromley. I mean they're probably not catching Bromley because they're 9 points behind them with barely any games left. But goal difference being better than Cambridge, well, not quite being better than Cambridge yet, sorry, but a couple of goals behind, so they could overtake them. Way better than Swindon's, way better than Salford's. It could mean a lot come the end of the season. And to be fair, they've done it against a side that have looked a lot stronger than they did in previous weeks. So when we thrashed them and when Grimsby thrashed them, like that Cheltenham side, this isn't that same Cheltenham side anymore. They are a stronger outfit, and they've still managed to go and put 5 past them. So honestly, fair play. That's a great result. Let's talk about Crewe. Another lots of goals in that game as well, actually. 4-0. Wasn't expecting that, given Shrewsbury's impressive form of late. But I mean, it was a bit of a non-starter really for Shrewsbury. I mean, they were 2-0 down in about 8 minutes, following a bit of a weird own goal, and then a beautiful move for the second goal. To be fair, from Josh March, he then got a third in the second half, and Ray Tesco compiled the misery with another very good header. Actually, there's a few decent headers over the weekend, and I don't know. I feel like we've got the strongest side of Crewe back again, and actually, I've been saying all season they are just a very weird side to cover because you just don't know what you're getting with them. You look at their last 3 results, and I feel like it's a perfect summary of Crewe's season. You've got obviously this emphatic win. The game before that was the draw, and the game before that was a heavy loss where they just never showed up against Walsall. So I feel like we've seen just about everything Crewe have to offer in the last couple of weeks, really. But I mean, they've obviously still got a lot to play for, but do they have the capacity to actually make it into the playoffs and stay there? Which is the tricky bit.
Well, the thing is with Crewe, I think what you've normally seen, certainly over the last couple of years or so, and maybe more so recently as well, they are. I do feel like it is just a case of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I feel like you get with them. Obviously, their playoff hopes have taken a bit of a dip over these last couple of games. Losing to Bristol Rovers and Walsall, picked up that draw against Cheltenham, but they really need. I think they could have. Look, going into the game against Shrewsbury, I mean, I think I won't say the wheels have fallen off. I don't think it's fair, but as they've had a good February, but obviously. I mean, look, if you count in their defeat to Crewe now as well, 4 defeats in their last 5 for them now. I think the Gavin Cowan honeymoon period is sort of fading a little bit in that regard, but they should have enough for safety anyway. But yeah, going back to Crewe, I don't doubt that they're good enough for the playoffs. Certainly, they're still very much in this conversation, so you of course can't rule them out. Obviously, I think it is just the consistent side. I mean, they've got some big games coming up over these next few weeks. Also, they've got Oldham next. They've still got to play Salford. They've still got to play Grimsby. They've still got to play MK Dons. They've still got to play Chesterfield. Still got to play Cambridge. So they've got a really tricky run in. But I think a lot of teams do. I think the beauty of this last month or so is, genuinely speaking, pretty much all in one way or another, all the sides are playing each other. So you can't be certain of that. Look, we know that the Crewe on their day are a fantastic side. They are, and I think maybe at times they have shocked me a little bit, good and bad. But I don't know as quality. I mean, I think also they've got some key players coming back at key times as well. I've noticed that. I mean, Emre Tezgel's on the score sheet again. I think he's been out injured for a little bit. Jack Lancaster, I think, is probably the big one. I mean, his assist for was it the second goal for Josh March with the back heel was weird. I thought it was beautiful, and he could be the difference maker for them. Has obviously missed a large part of the season through injury, and we know how much of a talented player he is in this side. So and look, going to Shrewsbury yesterday, big away end, looking at it and picking up a 4-0 victory. Josh March running the show basically. Could be the result they crave, really, going into the running. It will certainly. I mean, if that doesn't give them bags of confidence, I don't know what will. I mean, like I said, they've got a tricky task against Oldham coming up, and it's just about staying there if they get there. But no doubting they're very much in this conversation at the minute. Only 2 points behind Grimsby in that last playoff spot. But like I said, got to play everyone else still. But maybe that result could be the fuel for them to go and kick on now. Yeah. I mean, I'll be keeping a close eye on Crewe over these last few weeks. I've come like Grimsby's still got to play him, of course, but no, certainly as away victories go. I mean, 4 goals scored, clean sheet, 3 points. I don't think they get much better than that, really.
Oh yeah, exactly that. And I think, they're a team that even if they don't make it themselves, they are going to have a huge say in who does actually make it in various sort of placements of the table.
Agreed.
Definitely one to keep an eye on in the coming weeks. That is for sure. We have got one more deep dive, and I'm going to take us to Walsall, where they've come out 2-1 winners over Newport, which I've got to say, it looked like an interesting game. And to be fair, I actually thought Newport, at least in the first half, actually kind of managed to match Walsall, and actually ended up getting a lead as a result. To be fair, obviously through Harrison Biggins. Um, I feel like we started to see a few more mistakes back in Walsall's game again. Obviously, those had kind of disappeared over the last couple of results, but they crept back in this particular game. But rather than heads dropping, bottling everything again, they showed a good amount of fight, to be fair, and they've managed to turn the game around. Firstly through Daniel Carnu, and then the winner from Alex Patterson. Just wow, it was just one of those moments. Just like, okay, yeah, fair play, and it's a sensational strike from range, and they've got the result. And as much as Newport have done a very good job at actually putting up a bit of a fight, they've got nothing for it, and Walsall have got a much needed 3 points.
It's a massive win for him. Genuinely a massive win. And look, you mentioned about the Patterson goal to win it at the end. I mean, 97th minute to pull something like that. I mean, it's a goal worthy of winning any game. That, and you could see the elation behind certainly the behind the stand when that went in. Yeah, I mean, I think that was his first goal for the club as well. I mean, first of all, what a time to get it, and second of all, what a goal it was. Yeah, look, showed immense character from that game. Of course, going 1-0 down just before half time through Harrison Biggins, but yeah, they're showing good character to get back into it. Daniel Carney's back amongst the goals again. It's been a little bit of time since he scored, but I think more importantly, as well as obviously that win for Walsall, is the fact that they've put an end to this abysmal home form that they've been on. The fact that they couldn't buy a home win for love nor money. And I was thinking about this earlier. Do they win that game under Matt Sadler? I'm not sure they do, actually. Um, look, Newport. Look, these are the games in which there's certainly a banana skin for aside that Walsall that are chasing that a playoff spot. I mean, you've got Newport at the bottom fighting for their lives and actually showing a bit of fight, unlike one or two teams. And yeah, look, Kieran was very complimentary of the first half as well. It sounded like they played pretty well in that. So there's certainly some encouraging signs to take away, but ultimately, I think you look at the week that Newport have had. They sounded like they played pretty well against Bromley, but in both of those games, they've lost the game late and they've accumulated no points from it. So it's clearly a blow, and you can see the Newport players when that Patterson goal went in as well. They look absolutely crestfallen, as you'd probably expect him to do in that. But no, look, they've got. I think for Newport now, they've got their tricky run out the way as such. And at this moment in time, they're outside the relegation zone, which for them I think could be big going into the next few weeks where they play the likes of Shrewsbury, which is their next game, Crawley, yes, they play Notts County and Meadow Lane, but they've also got the likes of Harrogate coming up, and they've also got Cheltenham in that time. So they've got some huge games there in which there are opportunities for points there, and they've certainly looked good enough to take points off over these last few weeks. So I think I do think they're getting there. I do think we're getting there, and I do actually. I feel more encouraged that they'll survive now. Actually, compared to, look, there's a lot of twists and turns to come. I know we're going to keep saying this for all parts of the table, but I think if you're fancying a team to stay up at the minute in the bottom four, it probably is Newport, just because of the running and how well that they know that they can play, and some of the results that they have picked up of late. Yeah, they'll be gutted with that, really. But honestly, I can't tell you how much of a big win that is for Walsall. Like as we mentioned, with everyone else winning around them, to be still in this. Even if they'd have drawn the game, 58 points. By no means out of it, but they've got a little bit more work to do compared to that 2 extra points in which they've got on with that 10th place and 2 points behind 7th. It genuinely could be massive between now and the end of the season. I actually think it's an incredibly big result. I really do.
Oh, it is. It's just the nature of it. But just that sort of comeback and giving them the belief that they can actually get these results, and it doesn't have to be a case of right, game's gone, that's it. Yeah, as it perhaps would have been under Sadler. So from also absolutely huge for them. My only concern from a Newport perspective is what does that do mentally to them? Because it is devastating to lose a game in
Yeah,
that fashion.
yeah. Well, I get your point, and I think the same could be said about the Bromley game the other night as well, where they lost the game in the 88th, 89th minute as well, which they played all right for a lot of it. I guess time will tell. I guess, but really, I think you're going into these games. Do you really expect him to, in the greatest respect, did you really expect him to pick up many points from it? I think Kieran has summed it up previously in the past. If they can get within touching distance or better, in which they have been better over the last few weeks in position wise, heading into the running that they've got, then they put themselves in good stead. Yes, of course, it's not a given. Of course, they can lose all those games, and there'll be more worrying times ahead if they do. But no, look, I think they've got to win a few of those games, and I honestly think they will at this moment in time. I guess there's that factor to it, but I, I, yeah, yeah, yes, of course, yesterday will hurt. I get that, but you can't dwell on that now. They're in this fight, and they need some results, and the attention just turns to the next one now.
Yeah, exactly that. It's one of those. They're showing signs of fight. They're doing everything that we're not seeing from Barrow at the minute. And as long as they can maintain that kind of willpower, that desire to keep themselves up, they've got every chance, and they're giving themselves the best possible chance. You've just also got to be careful and make sure that you're not having these moments every game where you're conceding late, because if it becomes a trend now, that could be a bit problematic. But as we say, they are absolutely within. They've absolutely got a decent chance of potentially surviving, especially if everyone goes and loses, like all the teams around did as well. To be fair, we have 6 more games to cover, so I'm going to rattle through them very quickly, and then we can just pick off any talking points. First up, we have got Accrington and Chesterfield, which was obviously a 1-0 win for Chesterfield. I actually think they made a little bit of a meal of it, to be honest. I do think Accrington, to their credit, played a lot more like the Accrington we're familiar with from earlier in the season. The side that looked like, oh, they might be playoff contenders, and I know that it's their season's kind of done now, but it did look more like a normal Accrington performance this time, because I don't think they've been themselves these last few weeks. But in the end, Chesterfield did find a way through. Will Dixon got the goal, and that was actually only his second of the season, to be fair, and good time to get it. A very, very important time to get it as well. So, yeah, important win for Chesterfield there. I think they had the better of the chances, in fairness to them. It's just that constant thing with them of they create very good chances, but don't take enough of them for my liking. Um, you've then got the Bromley 1-0 win over Colchester. They've done it again, where it's been a very close game and somehow kind of found a way to win it. And actually, there could have been a lot more goals in this one, just based off of the chances from both sides. To be fair, I thought Bromley had some absolutely fantastic ones. That being said, I think Colchester also had a couple of moments that could have ended up in a goal. It's just for whatever reason, Colchester can't find the back of the net for love nor money. And Bromley just have that knack of doing it at this point, and eventually took the lead through Nicky Kabamba. And actually, watching that goal from a Colchester perspective, that was agonising. They had about 58 chances to clear that ball. They literally had the ball and looked like they were going on the counter attack with, I think, Samson Tavito, who I think had it at the time. And he's lost it in his own third, messing around with it, and it was an unnecessary way to concede, a very disappointing way to concede, in what was otherwise a very close match. But ultimately, it's the result that matters, and Bromley are the ones that have taken it. You've then got Fleetwood and Crawley, which was a 1-0 Fleetwood win. They've finally won a game that I was expecting them to actually come away with, and it was an odd game, this one for me. Most of the action happened in the first half. No goals there whatsoever. Uh, Nothing happened in the second half apart from the goal, to be honest. And that was Ched Evans getting on the score sheet. And Fleetwood had, I think, 11 shots in that game. Only one of them was from outside the box, so you can guess which one went in. It was the one from outside the box. So I don't know, another poor result for Crawley. I would have expected maybe a little bit more from them. I know they had their chances, but I feel like that's the sort of game you've got to be coming away with at least something. You've then got Gillingham losing 2-1 at home to Bristol Rovers. I have opinions of that penalty decision. I feel like he's been shoved in the back and his hand's gone up as a result, which has resulted in it being given as a handball. Not convinced that's a pen personally, but I digress. They got the lead result regardless, and to be fair, from Ronan Hale, it is a decent penalty. But the mindset and coming back to Gillingham, it's just all wrong for the second half. It was all Bristol Rovers for that entire second half, and Alfie Kilgore capitalised immediately early in the second half. You then had Ellis Harrison eventually putting it into the back of the net. That was a bit of a weird move. I feel like Jake Turner could have done more with maybe not the first save, but the second one, because he basically just tapped it straight into the path of Harrison when he maybe could have even caught it, if I'm being totally honest. And then you also had the very strange and stupid red card from Armani Little for booting the ball away needlessly. So yeah, just a strange one there, which I'm sure you'll probably end up touching on in a little bit. You've then got Oldham beating Harrogate 1-0, and Oldham are a very interesting team at the minute. They're just not conceding any goals at all. I think in the last 8 games they've conceded once, and that was against Tranmere. of all teams. So it was one of those. It was just a very narrow game, set piece goal from Jake Lee, which was well worked. To be fair, a narrow game. I feel like I feel like Harrogate probably deserved a bit more than they got. I feel like they played well, but ultimately it's about getting the result. And Oldham did that. Harrogate didn't, and despite everyone else losing around them, they don't actually gain any ground despite playing well. So frustrations there. And finally, Tranmere losing 1-0 to Swindon. And yeah, Tranmere are up. I have no words. I feel like there were signs of improvement from them, but it's just just any way to lose, they'll find it. Um, it's just the nature of the winner after playing so much better than they have in recent weeks. Just to concede like that, Cam Norman just letting his man run straight past him, pointing at him, and actually doing nothing about it. I don't know what that defending is, especially in the last minute when it looks like you might finally actually get a point. That just can't happen. And yeah, you can just tell there's no confidence within those players, even just from the chances they fail to take at the other end. You can tell just mentally they are just not in a good place right now. And Swindon have found a way to win. Again, I think they've made a meal of it, and they probably should have been able to put that game to bed a lot sooner than they did, because I think ultimately, as soon as they score one, Tranmere's heads are going to drop because that's just the way they are at the minute. It just took them a very long time to find that goal, but that's the kind of rundown of the rest of the games this week. Is there any game that stands out there for you, or any other points you'd like to pick up on?
Well, I'll just touch on your points of Swindon and Chesterfield, in which you've mentioned both. Both of them have made a meal of their games. Obviously, with Swindon leaving it late to beat Tranmere, and obviously the Chesterfield game away at of Accrington. I think we're at a point in the season in which who cares about performances now? You want results, and those two could be massive results for those two teams. I mean, especially in Swindon's case, certainly keeps their top three hopes alive. Certainly an interesting one going into the game. I think I was pretty unsure going into this one because I know Swindon have been very prone recently to the odd slip up, and and they could have been on the end of another one, albeit not losing it and walking away with a draw. But Tranmere are their own worst enemy. I mean, it clearly looks like a much better performance, but it means absolutely nothing because they've walked away with 0 points and they've shot themselves in the foot right at the end, in which Junior Hoylett has got an easy goal, really, to win it. But look, it could be huge for Swindon. I know I mentioned Chesterfield there. Again, big for them in this playoff conversation. One goal is enough. That's it. If you win the game, like I said, you're at the point now where you're not bothered about performances. They're secondary. As long as you just get over the line now, that's the main thing, and they've ended up doing that. Oldham, they're going really well at the minute. Again, I think it's probably a game in which you sort of looked at it as a little bit of a banana skin tie with Harrogate. But look, their recent form doesn't lie. Was it 7 wins on the last 8? They drew with Bromley as well in that time. I mean, the clean sheet record is ridiculous. And like I said, I'm really intrigued to see what happens against Notts County in the week. They'll certainly be up for it, and their climb continues, and they're in a good spot at the minute. I mean, playing games less than the teams in and around them as well. Some of the other ones, real quick, I'm just trying to see what's mentioned. I mean, look, Bristol Rovers, I think we've got to give them credit. I mean, the job that Steve Evans has done eventually over the past few weeks. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at 5 wins in the last 7 games, a draw and a defeat in that time. It's clearly got them away from danger, and they're looking at a mid-table finish now. Who would have thought we were saying that a couple of weeks ago, in which they've been on the floor? It still doesn't hide the fact that it's been a poor season from them, but obviously where they has been, I mean, there's been big improvements. Obviously, Steve Evans is there until the end of the season, so we'll have to see what happens with him going forward. I'm sure that it might be a conversation. Certainly, I think if you're a Bristol Rovers fan, I think you're probably on your hands and knees begging him to stay, to be quite honest. The turnaround has been good. And I'm not surprised. I always thought Steve Evans would get them out of it. There was a couple of times in which we did question that, but he's done what they needed to do. Gillingham, I'm bored of talking about them, really. 2 awful goals. I mean, that second goal is embarrassing defensively. And it's probably a sad indictment of where they are at the minute. And then the red card from Amani that was it's the cherry on the cake, really. Daft, really. And yeah, there's not much more to say on that. And yeah, Crawley. I mean, look, we've not even touched on Bromley as well. We'll touch on Bromley first. I mean, yeah, look, it's another win for them, isn't it? Obviously, didn't have it all their own way with Colchester. I feel for a bit for Colchester at the minute. I mean, they can't hit a barn door. Truth be told, at the minute, and obviously with that defeat to Bromley, I think that extinguishes any hopes of the playoffs now. I think that's done, to be quite honest with you. And I do feel for Danny Cowley a little bit. I don't think I'm not sure how much of responsibility he can take that he can take from it. They've had injuries, and we know about the stuff off the pitch as well. I think they need to take over if they are to progress to the next level. That's just my personal opinion. But look, I mean, it's big for Bromley. I mean, they're unbeaten in 21 games they are now, five points clear at the top of the table. They're looking in very good stead for the title, and certainly in good stead for League One football next year. Yeah, pretty good win for Fleet as well. Not much to say about that. But Crawley, I posed a question to you before we started recording. Does Scott Lindsay stay next season? Because I think he's used up all his credibility long ago, and they are in a tough position. And to be quite, I see them as soft. I think they do look soft at times, and yeah, and I guess it's one of those indications of obviously them in League One next year, and there's still a chance they could be relegated again with the back-to-back relegations, in which we have seen teams do in the past, especially the past couple of years or so. Um, but yeah, certainly worrying times for them until they win a game, that's for sure. But no, really interesting week. Look, Oldham, Swindon, Colchester. Not Colchester, sorry, they lost to Bromley, but Chesterfield is who I meant. Look, big wins for them. I mean, Fleetwood, I don't think the win does them much, to be honest. I think they're done, but it's nice for them to get a win anyway. And yeah, Bristol Rovers as well. Good wins for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just another kind of manic week, and I think every single one going onwards for the rest of the season is just going to be mental. You know, just the repercussions of every single result at this stage. But still, it means we always have a lot to talk about, so that's fun. I'm very quickly going to rattle through my team of the week for the weekend. I've got Connor Ripley in goal, obviously of Swindon. I've got Lewis Billington at right back, Crewe. My centre backs are James Gibbons of Cambridge and Alfie Kilgore of Bristol Rovers. Left back, I've gone Idris Odeteo of Bromley. Right mid, I've gone Ryan Glover of Barnet through gritted teeth. Centre mids, I feel is a very tricky one because I could have said Alex Patterson, Walsall. I could have said Isaac Hutchinson of Cheltenham, even though they lost. I've gone with Kieran Green, which I'm sure you're happy about.
Well, he got two
Obviously,
goals, so I'd have been surprised if he wasn't, to be quite honest.
well, I mean, Hutchinson got 2 goals and Patterson got a goal and an
Well,
assist. So it's a tricky one
well,
this week.
no, Green, because I love him. That's it.
And my other centre mid is actually my player of the game week. It's Matthew Palmer of Notts. I just think an influential performance against tough opposition. My left mid, I've gone for Josh March of Crewe, and my strike partnership is Emre Tezgel of Crewe again, and Jace Cabia of Grimsby. So there you go, you get 2 in there. How about that?
I was going to say,
Uh,
well, it's the least he deserved with 2 goals and an assist. So that would have been criminal if you'd have left him out of that one.
oh, it would have been funny to do it just because, just to see your reaction. I should have thought of that. Oh well.
You'd
Anyway,
have been
I've also got.
you'd have been kicked off this pod. I'd have run it solo.
Right, and finally, I've gone for manager Dean Brennan, obviously Barnet. I can't argue that is the result of the week. And fair play to them. I thought they played very well. So just before we close things off, I think we should do a very quick preview of Oldham versus Notts because I think this is a very intriguing game. Obviously, the Tuesday night and the potential result here could have huge repercussions. If Notts can win, they're in the top 3. But Oldham, as we was just saying, they don't concede anymore. They've decided they're going back to the thing where they just never concede ever. And of course, they've got their own aspirations, trying to make a late charge for the playoffs. And if they were to win, that would put them up to 9th and just 1 point off those playoff places. So, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, you've got the form team at home as well in this one. I mean, look, we've given Oldham's plaudits over recent weeks, and rightly so because of their running. It's certainly a game against Notts County. I mean, with the running as well, certainly a game they shouldn't fear. Certainly at the minute, I think they know they can give any team a game. They probably know. I mean, with the clean sheet record, that they're not going to give much away. But I do see this as a challenge for them. I mean, this is a Notts County team in which we have given our plaudits to ourselves in well, certainly from my end in this episode anyway. With 9 goals this week, so I think it's certainly goal scoring wise. I think they're in a good place. A little bit inconsistent here and there over the last couple of weeks, but ultimately that they know that it's an opportunity for them. This being one of their games in hand over Cambridge. Well, I say over Cambridge, they played the most, but they've certainly played a game less than MK Dons. If they was to win that, they go a point behind them, and they crack into the top three. So I think this is a big game for both sides. Um, I think it's quite difficult to call, really. I mean, you've got the goal scoring threats of Notts County against. I mean, you've got the against the Great Wall of China at the back at the minute with Oldham Athletic. I mean, at Boundary Park, it's going to be a good atmosphere. I expect Notts County to have a good away following, as they always tend to do. Um, I honestly won't be surprised if Oldham nick it either. I think they're in a really good place at the minute. I feel like the mentality's there, and this is Mickey Mellon. This is just what he does. Um, they turn it on right at the end, and they know how to get results. I do think it'll be a tricky game. Now, I don't think a draw is the worst result in the world, certainly for either team at the minute. It's certainly an opportunity for both, but will it be? But will the draw be the worst? Well, I think maybe certainly in Notts County's case at the minute for top three, I think compared to the other sides. But I think probably same is for Oldham, although they have played 2 games less than most teams in and around them. Um, I'm finding it hard to call. Actually, I am. So I've got
It's
the
tricky. It's really tricky. Free scoring team against the team that just don't concede ever, with a lot at stake.
I'm
It
going to
feels
set the
like
phone.
anything you predict is just the wrong answer, really.
That's
So
it.
it's
That's it, isn't it? I think I'll play safe. I'll sit on the fence. I think let's go for 1-1. I do think they'll. I have a feeling they'll concede Oldham. For some reason, I think they will. But I think
I I,
they're also
I
in a
was
good
going to say
position to
1-1 as
grind out.
well.
But I also think they're in a good position to grind out some sort of result. But and as I said, I won't be shocked if they win it. Actually, with where they are at the minute.
I mean, everything in me wants to predict Oldham to win, just because that's obviously the result that would help Dons most. But I can't ignore the way Notts have been playing. Equally, I can't ignore Oldham's defence and how Hudson suddenly shot straight back up to the top of the clean sheets chart. This could honestly go any direction. And like I say, it feels like any prediction would be the wrong one. I think I am agreed with you, though. The safe thing is to just go, you know what, it's going to be 1-1 and that'll be it. Which honestly, on a Tuesday night, might not be the worst of results. It obviously wouldn't be brilliant for either side because both are the hunters of their respective kind of promotion chasers, but I'm finding it hard to split it any other way. So I'm agreed with you. I'm sitting on 1-1. So it's yeah, it's just one of those. I think it's one that everyone in the league should be tuning into that game because it's a huge one, absolutely huge. But anyway, that is it for this episode of League Two Lowdown. If you have enjoyed it, drop us some comments. Tell us what you thought of your team's performances, all the rest of it. Drop us some likes, subscribe, share it wherever you can. Tell your nan about us because why not? Um, I don't know. I run out of things to say when I do this bit every single time.
She loves
Um,
Gillingham and their mishaps at the minute, or Barrow.
oh dear. Right. Anyway. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode of League Two Lowdown. He has been Jordan Richards. I have been Luke Payne, and we will see you next time.